Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today in our lecture we are going to talk about the oral. By the end of this lecture you will be able to identify the structure of the lip, structure of the tongue with the histological structure which is present on the surface of the tongue which is called papillae. Also we are going to know the structure of the taste bud. We are going to talk about the histological structure of the cheek, soft palate and hard palate. Now we are going to divide the digestive system into oral cavity, which we are concerning in this lecture. We are going to talk about the tubular digestive tract and associated digestive gland. Let's see the digestive system. Digestive system starts by oral cavity, which containing the lip, the tongue, the cheeks, soft palate. All of them contain taste buds. Then we are going to go into the gastrointestinal tube, which starts by the esophagus, open into dilated structure called the stomach, then going to the intestine, which includes smaller one, small intestine, large one, large intestine in the rectum and anal canal. We have got associated gland, which includes salivary gland, include one of the largest digestive gland, which is the liver and pancreas. The oral cavity is considered as a chamber which is lined throughout all the oral cavity is lined by stratified squamous epithelium for protection. So the type of epithelium present in the oral cavity is stratified squamous epithelium. Don't miss this information. If you forget what is the lining epithelium of any structure in the oral cavity, so you have to memorize that it is for protection. So it will be lined by stratified squamous epithelium. Its function is not only protection. We are going to have some highly specialized structure like the taste. Let's start by our limit of the chamber from outside. Our oral cavity is covered from outside or closed from outside by a structure called lip. But what is the lip? It is a muscular organ. It is formed mainly of muscle. So what is a lip? It is muscular organ. What is the muscle present in the lip? It is mainly muscle cord orbicularis oris. It is circular skeletal muscle. So it is skeletal muscle. It is voluntary. Okay, so the lip consists of circular skeletal muscle called orbicularis oris. It is covered from outside the outer part by skin. This muscle is covered from outside by skin, from inside by stratified squamous epithelium non-keratinized. So this muscle is lined from inside by stratified squamous epithelium non-keratinized, while from outside it is covered by skin. So the main structure of the lip is circular skeletal muscle. It's called orbicularis oris muscle. From outside it is covered by skin. From inside it is covered by stratified squamous epithelium. Let's repeat what we say. From inside it is covered by stratified squamous epithelium non-keratinized. And this stratified squamous epithelium is lying above connective tissue. The stratified squamous epithelium plus connective tissue, both of them is called mucosal portion, which or other name is mucous membrane. So what is mucous membrane? It is a structure formed from epithelium and the underlying connective tissue. This underlying connective tissue is called lamina propria. So what is the name of connective tissue beneath the epithelium in the mucosa? It is called lamina propria. Okay. So from inside, orbicularis oris muscle is covered by lamina propria, which is from mucosa, which is formed of epithelium and lamina propria. Epithelium here is a stratified squamous non-keratinized, and lamina propria is a loose connective tissue which containing some glands. Okay, from inside it we have cutaneous portion or skin. A type of skin here is considered thin skin. In between we have from outside mucous membrane, from outer side skin. In between we have a red margin. This red margin is called filamenal border. Can you see here? This region is called the red margin. From outside it is the skin, from inside is the mucous membrane. So the mucosal portion is stratified squamous epithelium. It will be thicker than cutaneous border. Beneath this epithelium, there is a loose connective tissue called lamina propria. This lamina propria containing serous salivary gland. Why we have salivary gland? To keep our lip wet. This salivary gland or serous salivary gland here is called labial gland. Can you see here that this is a circular porous muscle covered from inside by mucosal portion, which is epithelium and lamina propria. In lamina propria, we are going to have some serous salivary gland, which is called labial gland. Continuing to the outside, we have a region which is called red margin or vermilion border. Vermilion border, it is a modified skin. What mean by modified? It means that it has no hair, no gland, and contain many numerous dermal papillae. What is dermal papillae? If we are going to have epithelium like that, it will be go up and down, up and down. This up and down is called papillae, dermal papillae. It will be highly vascular. Why it is highly vascular? Because it contains numerous blood vessels. This numerous blood vessels give it the red color. So we talk about the mucosal portion, which is epithelium and lamina propria. We are talked about the red margin, which is modified skin. It has numerous deep dermal papillae. It is highly vascular, containing no gland and no hair. Okay, what about the cutaneous portion? What about the cutaneous portion? Cutaneous portion is formed of skin. This skin is formed of epithelium. The epithelium of the skin is called epidermis, and the underlying connective tissue is called dermis. What is the epithelium time present in the epidermis? From the first year, we are knowing that the epithelium of the skin is a stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. Beneath which is a connective tissue which is called the dermis. It containing the hair follicle and its associated sebaceous gland. Okay, here can you see we are having many layers of epithelium. So it is a stratified epithelium. The last layer is a flat cell, so it is a stratified squamous epithelium, and it is very thick. It is non-keratinized, so it is mucosal portion formed of epithelium, beneath which is a connective tissue which is called lamina propria. Can you remember the type of gland present in this lamina propria? It is serous acinoid called labial gland. What about here? Can you see here that many layer of epithelium? So it is a stratified epithelium. Can you see here that this is red structure is keratin? So it is a stratified squamous keratinized, and there is deep invagination for the hair follicle. So this is skin. So this is the cutaneous portion. In between, we have the red margin or vermilion border. Vermilion border is modified skin. Does it contain hair like this? No hair and no gland, but contain deep dermal papillae. Can you see? This dermal papillae containing highly vascular blood vessels. So this is the red margin. This is the thickness of mucosal portion, and in comparison, and this is deep dermal papillae. Okay, by this we have finished the lip. Okay, let's continue to talk about the tongue. Let's continue our talk. Now we are going to talk about the tongue. Tongue. Can you remember what we say about the lip? The lip was a muscular organ, consists of circular skeletal muscle. Tongue is the same. It is a muscular organ. What is the difference or the direction of the muscle? It is not only circular, it is arranged in three directions, which is longitudinal, transverse, and vertical direction. So the tongue is a muscular organ. This skeletal muscle of the tongue is present in three directions. What are this direction? It is LS, TS, and vertical direction. It is covered also by epithelium. So, but here is this outer and inner? No. As anatomically, the tongue is formed of two surfaces, the upper surface and the lower surface. Okay, so here we are going to have upper surface. This upper surface is called dorsal surface, while the lower surface is called ventral surface. So, tongue is a muscular organ covered by skeletal muscle arranged in three directions: longitudinal, transverse, and vertical direction. This muscle is embedded in vascular connective tissue for its supplying of blood supply, lymphatic, and nerve supply. Can you guess what is the function of this muscle? It has many functions. It moves the tongue. It helps us in speeches, in moving the food, in mixing the food. Okay, let's see the tongue. The tongue, as we mentioned before, is a muscular organ. This muscular organ having upper surface, our upper surface is called the dorsal surface. This is your tongue from the upper part. This upper part is called dorsal surface. When we look at this dorsal surface, we are going to classify this dorsal surface or upper surface into two parts, the anterior part and posterior part. Is there any difference? Yes. According to the structure, there will be many differences. We are going to classify this dorsal surface into anterior, which include 2/3 of the tongue, while posterior part is concluding only 1/3. So the dorsal surface is divided into anterior 2/3 and posterior third. These are classified by a V-shaped sulcus. Can you see here this V-shaped sulcus? This V-shaped sulcus divide it into anterior 2/3 and posterior third. What we can find in the posterior third, we can find tonsils, which is a lymphatic aggregation. We are going to have two types: lingual tonsil inside the tongue itself and palatine tonsil. We can see at the end of the tongue the epiglottis. Okay. What about the anterior 2/3? The anterior 2/3 contain epithelial elevation called papillae. We are going to have different type of epithelial elevation, which is called papillae. We are going to have different type of papillae according to their shape. So, dorsal surface of the tongue is divided by a V-shaped sulcus into anterior 2/3 and posterior third. The most characteristic feature of the anterior 2/3 is the presence of papillae. Okay, we are going to continue with talking about the papillae. So, what is papillae? I'm going to talk about the types of papillae. So, what is papillae? It is projection of connective tissue cordon covered by stratified squamous epithelium non-keratinized. So, papillae is an connective tissue projection covered by epithelium. So, according to the shape of a papillae, we are going to have different or four types of papillae. The first one and the numerous one is filiform papillae. So, the first type is filiform papillae. Okay, so the most numerous papillae in the tongue is filiform papillae. So where is it present in the tongue? In the whole tongue? No, on the dorsal surface. It is present on dorsal surface. Which type of dorsal surface? Which part of dorsal surface? In the anterior 2/3. So it is present on anterior 2. It is present on anterior 2/3 of the tongue. So what is the shape of filiform papillae? To call it filiform, it is like fili. So it has a wide base and narrow apex. It is a projection, so it is elevation of connective tissue or lamina propria. This connective tissue is covered by the epithelium. This projection takes the shape of conical in shape. Their tips is going to directed backwards toward. We are going to have the tongue. This is our tongue. It has a V-shaped sulcus. We are going to have a filiform papillae with the direction of the tip directed backward toward the V-shaped sulcus. However, sometimes the epithelium coverage of this papillae on its tip is covered by stratified squamous epithelium keratinized. So, is this papillae could be keratinized epithelium? Yes, sometimes on their tips they are capped by stratified squamous epithelium keratinized. What is the function of this papillae? It is so numerous. So its function is in touch sensation. Do we need touch sensation by our tongue? Like in liking ice cream, we need rough surface. It is more evident in animal. It is evident in infant during suckling process. Does this filiform papillae has any role in taste sensation? No, it doesn't have any role in taste sensation. It has no taste bud, and this is an important part. No taste bud present in filiform papillae. Can you see here that this is scanning electron microscope of filiform papillae. It is conical in shape, wide base, narrow apex, and all of them, their tip is directed backward. Okay, this was the first type, which is the most common type and the most numerous type. It is present on the anterior two-thirds of the tongue. Let's go to the second type of papillae. Let's go to the second type of papillae. This second type is the fungiform papillae. This is fungiform. It is fungus. It is mushroom-like. They are going to have narrow base and wide apex. So the second type is fungiform papillae. They are fewer in number. Where we can find them on the dorsal surface of the tongue, the anterior two-thirds. They are going to be found along the tip and edges of the tongue. They resemble mushroom-like as they are having narrow base and expanded upper part. They are containing papillae of connective tissue which is highly vascular, so they appear as red spots on the edges and the tip of the tongue. Can you see here? Can you see here? At the edges, and tip of the tongue, there is a fungiform papillae. They are red spots like because they are highly vascular papillae. Okay, what is the function of this papillae? This papillae is having a role in taste sensation, so they contain scattered taste bud on their upper part. If this is the papillae, on their upper part we are going to find taste bud. So their function is taste sensation. Let's go to the third type. This third type of papillae is the circumvallate papillae. Circumvallate is that means that this papillae is surrounded by a valley, so it is deeper in the structure. So let's look at this picture. Can you see that it is a projection, but it is beneath the surface of the tongue? This is filiform papillae project to the upward, but this papillae is projection and its tip is at the surface of the tongue. It is present along if we are going to have our tongue anterior two-thirds by V-shaped sulcus. So this papillae is present anterior to the V-shaped sulcus of the tongue. Their number is very few. They are 7 to 12 in number. They are similar to the fungiform papillae. They are going to have constricted base and wide apex. But the difference here that this is a deeper one. It is surrounded by circular deep groove. It is like a valley. This papillae is surrounded by a circular deep groove. It is like filiform papillae. Its upper surface may be covered by keratinized epithelium. Do you remember filiform papillae? Its tip was covered by a cap of keratinized epithelium. The same is here. Okay, what is the function of this papillae? This is the papillae which contain numerous taste buds. This papillae contain numerous taste buds. In where? On the upper part or no? It is in the lateral wall of the papillae facing the groove. This papillae, in order to keep this groove clean, contain many serous glands in the connective tissue. Their secretion of this serous gland help to keep the groove clear or clean and help to dissolve the taste particle in this saliva. Okay, this serous gland is called von Ebner's gland. So this papillae is having a few numbers. They are 7 to 12 along the V-shaped sulcus. They are surrounded by a circular deep groove. This groove beneath it contains serous acini called von Ebner's gland. This serous or von Ebner's gland help to clear the groove. Let's go to the fourth and final type of papillae. Is not present in human. It is rudimentary in humans. They are only present in animals like rabbit. This papillae is called foliate papillae. Foliate papillae is like leaf-like, so they are called foliate. They are present along the edges of the posterior third of the human, no, of the rabbit tongue. So this papillae is present in the posterior third of the tongue. They are formed of parallel ridges of connective tissue. These are separated by deep groove in between papillae. Their function is only like circumvallate papillae is taste sensation, which is present also along the lateral wall of the groove. They are surrounded by groove. Like circumvallate papillae, they are containing serous gland, but not von Ebner. Von Ebner is only related to circumvallate papillae. Here, this is just serous gland. Don't call it von Ebner's gland. The serous acini, as there is a groove, will keep the groove clean. Okay, by this we have finished the type of papillae present on the dorsal surface of the tongue. The most numerous is filiform papillae, don't contain any taste bud. The second is fungiform papillae, contain taste bud. The third one is circumvallate and contain numerous taste bud and fewer in number, from 7 to 12 along the V-shaped sulcus. The last one, which is rudimentary in man, is the foliate papillae, and its function is taste sensation as it contains taste bud along its lateral wall. Let's continue to talk about the ventral surface of the tongue. Ventral surface of the tongue is not like that of the dorsal one. The dorsal one was divided here. The ventral surface is smooth, loosely attached and freely mobile. It doesn't contain any papillae. It appears wavy due to loosely attached epithelium to the connective tissue. Okay, covered by it is a stratified squamous epithelium resting on a connective tissue called lamina propria. It contains serous acini, serous gland called lingual gland. It helps to keep this surface wet. So can you guess the difference between the dorsal and ventral surface? Which one is rough? The dorsal surface is rough while the ventral is smooth. Ventral surface is loosely attached while dorsal surface is firmly adherent. Dorsal surface is divided into anterior two third and posterior third by V-shaped sulcus, while ventral one is one surface not divided and it is wavy, appear wavy. Ventral surface contain lingual gland. Dorsal surface contain lingual papillae, no glands, lingual gland. Talk here. The most numerous papillae is filiform papillae. On the edges and tip of the tongue we have fungiform papillae. Along the V-shaped sulcus we having vallate papillae, which is rudimentary in human and present in the posterior third of the tongue. It is foliate papillae. Here is between the four types of papillae. The most numerous filiform followed by fungiform, and the least number is circumvallate papillae. Rudimentary in man is foliate papillae. Filiform is conical in shape, while fungiform have narrow base and a wide root apex. Circumvallate is the same as fungiform, but it is surrounded by a deep groove and don't project to the surface. Foliate papillae having deep grooves covered by non-keratinized epithelium, and it is surrounded by deep groove. Taste bud is related to fungiform circumvallate and papillae foliate. It is numerous in circumvallate on the lateral wall, also in papillary foliata. Von Ebner gland is related to circumvallate papillae, but also there is serous acini related to papilla foliata or foliate papillae due to presence of groove, but it doesn't call von Ebner's gland. Okay. Keratinized, filiform papillae could be keratinized, fungi non-keratinized. Circumvallate, the tip may be keratinized. Now let's go to see what about medical or clinical application on the tongue. In severe nutritional deficiency, severe one, as severe iron deficiency anemia or pernicious anemia, there is decreased nutrition, so no ability to make tongue projection, no ability to make papillae. So we are going to have atrophic tongue, atrophic glossitis or pulled tongue, like that. It has no papillae. There is loss of lingual papillae. When you see this tongue, you can guess that it is a nutritional deficiency, severe nutritional deficiency, like iron deficiency anemia or pernicious anemia. Let's see some question. Test yourself. Which type of papillae on the tongue is the most abundant, the most numerous? Yes, excellent. It is filiform papillae. Let's see another. Which one, which type of papillae on the tongue is not well developed in man? Rudimentary type. Excellent. It is foliate papillary, which is present on the posterior third of the tongue. Which type of papillae on the tongue is responsible for sour sensation? This means that it has taste bud. So you have to compare between circumvallate, fungiform, and foliate papillae. Foliate papillae is rudimentary, so it is excluded. So we have to choose between circumvallate and fungiform papillae. Sour taste, you taste salt by your tip of the tongue. Which papillae is present on the tip and edge of the tongue? It is fungiform papillae. Excellent. Let's go to another. Which type of papillae on the tongue doesn't contain taste bud? It is important in licking, in suckling, in providing rough surface. It is the most abundant papillae, which is filiform papillae. We mentioned that some taste bud is going to have, some papillae is going to have taste bud. So it is important in sensation. Let's see what is taste bud. Taste bud is considered as neuroepithelium. Can you memorize that? Epithelium was divided according to function into surface lining, into glandular epithelium, and finally into neuroepithelium. What is neuroepithelium? Can you memorize? Neuroepithelium is a type of epithelium resting on a basement membrane. It was having three types of cell. All of them start by S, letter S. The first one is the cell which is going to detect the sensation. So it is sensory cell. The second type will be supporting to the first to protect it as it is a precious cell. So it will be supporting cell. The third one will be for regeneration. So it will be stem cell. So for any neuroepithelium, you have to find these three cells: sensory cell, supporting cells, and stem cell. For our neuroepithelium today, it is a taste bud. Where we can find this taste bud? We have seen it on our tongue papillae, on the dorsal surface of the tongue, in the tongue papillae. Which tongue papillae? It was on the circumvallate papillae and fungiform papillae. The most numerous was in circumvallate papillae on the lateral wall. In the rudimentary, the type which is rudimentary is the foliate papillae. We can found also taste bud on the soft palate, pharynx, and posterior part of the epiglottis. If we see here, this is the taste bud. It appears like onion-like. It is an oval-shaped structure resting on basement membrane. Its apical part containing a pores and opening. Okay, so taste bud is considered as oval-shaped structure resting on a basement membrane with an apical taste. Let's go to the neuroepithelium. As we mentioned before, it is formed of three types of cell: sensory cell, supporting cell, and stem or basal stem cells. As regarding to our taste bud, can you see that it is oval in shape? The cell is arranged in like, it is onion-like. Let's see these three types of cell in our taste. The first one is the sensory cells. It is an important cell. It will detect our taste sensation. So it will be central in position. In order to go from the basement membrane to the upper surface in stratified squamous epithelium, it will be an elongated columnar cell where we set our supporting cells. Our supporting cell, in order to be supported, it must be peripheral, and also it will be elongated columnar cells. What about the third cell, which is the stem cell? It will be a small stem cell resting near the base. It is short cell. It doesn't reach our opening, which is the taste pore. Which one of them contain microvilli projection? Both of them, supporting cell and sensory cells, containing apical microvilli. Basal stem cell is very short and doesn't have any microvilli. What about the cytoplasm and the nucleus? Which one of them is very active? Sensory cell is very active. It is like neuroepithelium. It is receptors. So its color will be pale and it will have an active nucleus. While supporting cell, it is just only support. It is standing inside the dangerous. So it has a dark cytoplasm. It has a dark or small nucleus because it has no function, not performing a special function. What about basal stem cell? This stem cell is basal. It is having basophilic cytoplasm as it is a stem cell and active nucleus. What about secretory vesicle? Secretory vesicle will be present in both types, but it will be basal. It will be basal, and this is an important for MCQ in the sensory cells because it is going to transmit the impulse into a nerve fibers. They are to transmit their sensation in the cranial fiber. So its secretory vesicle will be basal. What about supporting? Its secretory vesicle will be apical in order to make secretion to keep the surface wet and dissolve the taste sensation in it. What is the function? Supporting cell is supportive in function. Moreover, it may secrete amorphous material which surround the microvilli. What about sensory cell? Sensory cell is related to free nerve ending and it will carry the taste sensation to the central nervous system. What is the function of the stem cell? It is regeneration of both supporting and sensory cells. Okay, by this we have finished the taste bud. Let's go to the another part of our oral cavity, which is the side wall, and it is the cheek. The cheek is consisted mainly or centrally like the lip and the tongue of a muscle. This muscle is the buccinator muscle. It is also embedded in connective tissue. Can you guess? The cheek is covered by what? The cheek has two sides, inner one and outer one. The outer one is covered by skin. Which type of skin? It is thin skin. The second one is the inner one. It is covered by mucous membrane. What is mucous membrane? It is epithelium and lamina propria. What is the type of epithelium? it is a stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. And we have a loose connective tissue which is called the lamina propria containing blood vessel, lymphatic nerves, and it also, don't forget that it contains mucus gland. Why mucus gland? In order to keep our epithelium with epithelium. So our cheek is a muscle fascinator covered by skin from outside and covered by mucous membrane from inside. Then soft palate. Soft palate is the inner continuation or the inner part of our oral cavity. It is formed of epithelium. Epithelium is having two parts. Soft palate, if we are going to see what is soft palate, this is our nose and oral. Here is nose and here is oral cavity. This is the first part of the mouth is hard palate, which is bone covered by epithelium. The inner one is soft palate. When we go to the soft palate, it has an lower surface and upper surface. The lower surface is in the mouth, the upper part is in the nose. So the lower surface will be like that of the oral cavity. What is the lining of the oral cavity? It will be covered by stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. What about the upper part, which is present in the nasal side? It will be a mucous membrane formed of the respiratory epithelium. What is the respiratory epithelium? It is pseudo-stratified columnar ciliated with goblet cell. So you have to memorize that soft palate will be covered by epithelium. Is it one type of epithelium? No, it has two surfaces, one facing the nose, the other facing the tongue. The one facing the nose will be covered by pseudo-stratified columnar ciliated epithelium. And the one facing the oral cavity or our mouth, it will be covered by stratified squamous epithelium. Beneath which each type of epithelium, there will be a loose connective tissue, like that of the cheek, containing blood vessel, lymphatic nerves, and mucus gland. Can you memorize what is the outward continuation of the soft palate? The first part of it is the hard palate. It is bone covered by epithelium. The part which face our oral cavity will be epithelium and lamina propria over the bone. Our epithelium will be stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. Can you guess here? This is one of the different parts. Why it is keratinized? Because you eat hard food, you eat hot food, you eat cold food. This is a traumatized to food to the epithelium. So in order to be highly protective, so it must be keratinized. So what is the lining epithelium of the hard palate? Is it stratified squamous non-keratinized? No, it is a stratified squamous keratinized, and it also must be wet, so it will also contain mucus gland in the lamina propria of the heart. Here we are going to see or demonstrate or define the epithelium of soft and hard palate. Here we can see that this is epithelium, stratified squamous epithelium, and this part contain keratin, so it is a stratified squamous epithelium keratinized. We mentioned stratified squamous epithelium keratinized in hard palate. So this is a photo of hard palate. What about this? This is a fold covered by epithelium on both sides, but this type of epithelium is different from that. So this is the oral side and this is the nasal side. So different type of epithelium. This oral side is lined by stratified squamous epithelium non-keratinized, while that part which is facing the nasal part is a stratified squamous epithelium. It is respiratory epithelium, which is pseudo-stratified columnar ciliated epithelium with goblet cell. So this part is considered the soft palate. So can you memorize where we find stratified squamous epithelium keratinized in our oral cavity? We have some part of oral cavity is lined by stratified squamous epithelium keratinized. Where? In the hard palate. Excellent. This is the first part we mentioned now. on the dorsal surface of the tongue on some papillae, like filiform papillae having a cap of keratin, like the upper part of fungiform papillae. These are area lined by stratified squamous epithelium keratinized. Now let's test ourselves. We have some question. Okay, let's go to the first question. One question, the first one, which is the hard palate is lined by what? I give you just a second to remember. Does it line by stratified cubical epithelium, stratified squamous keratinized, stratified columnar, or stratified squamous non-keratinized? The hard palate is in the oral cavity, and the all lining of the oral cavity is a stratified squamous epithelium, non-keratinized, except some area. From this area is the hard palate, as it is lined by stratified squamous epithelium, keratinized. So our choice here will be stratified squamous epithelium, keratinized type. By this, we have finished our lecture today. Our lecture today, including the oral cavity. We started by discussing the lip, tongue, and we go to the tongue. One of the function of the tongue is the taste, and we discuss taste, but we end by completing the oral cavity wall. We talk about the cheek, we talk about the hard and the soft palate. Okay, thank you and see you in the next lecture. Goodbye.